This is not a test. Don't expect to be impressed. Put on your life vest. Sit down your armrest. It's time to stray from the grind. Don't take my hand, 'cause you'll find no peace of mind. Side quest.
Hi there, and welcome to Authors and Dragons. And it's not going to be a regular episode today. It's an interlude. Why do we do an interlude? Because somebody didn't show up, basically. They say they're sick, but I think they're just lazy. But anyway, interludes give us a chance to catch up on some questions, shoot shit a little bit, interact with our audience. And also, we have a newcomer on today. But before we get to the newcomer, let's get through the boring shits that you expect from this episode. We got myself, Steve Revel, we got Robert Bevan, we got Rick Waltera, we got John Hartness. But also joining us today is Judy Black, author of The Mistress. And John, if I'm understanding this right, the writer of the Bubba the Monster Hunter gaming modules.
Right. The relevant to the podcast part of Judy's life is that she also writes 5th edition D&D modules, 5th edition settings, and she wrote the Bubba the Monster Hunter module that we ran at A&D Con last year, and she'll be joining us at A&D Con this year to talk about some other things she's got coming, to sell copies of her book, Shadows and Sideshows, produced by who did that? Oh yeah, that would be us, Falstaff Books. And she will also be talking about the upcoming Bubba the Monster Hunter modules that she is adapting for us, and those will be available on DM's Guild one of these days. Whenever I figure out how to format shit, I guess.
John, shut the fuck up. I want to hear from the person who writes the D&D modules.
So, what's up, Judy?
Hi! I was so sad that I couldn't actually be there when we ran the first Bubba the Monster Hunter module. I just remember thinking, like, how do we stat this out? Which is, like, the big problem with any D&D thing, because honestly, most of the time, if I'm running a game, I'm making up the stats as we go, so actually having to commit them to, a permanent thing is a little weird.
And, I ran that module, and having to figure out the damage for running in over someone with a Pinto on the fly.
Yep.
You could just go out into the car park and do that, really. I'm curious, what are the stats for a redneck? Is it just...
Depends on the class? It depends on the subclass you take of redneck. There are different varieties, so you gotta depend on whether this is like we're going out hunting one, or if it's a swamp person one. There are different varieties, and all of them have different bonuses that they'd get. Not many
Nice.
to int mods, but
And probably a few of them have charisma as a dump stat, too.
I don't know. There are some very charismatic rednecks, Who is that? The one on TikTok. He's like the redneck liberal that does a bunch of stuff on TikTok.
Ray Crowder.
He's super charismatic. He would be like a redneck bard subclass, I would say.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And that redneck bard is Johnny Cash impersonator.
Yes. Yeah, big time. Well, now I've got another thing to add to my creation list as a redneck class.
Excellent. That's what we're all about on this podcast, is pushing the limits of role-playing fantasy.
When your redneck gets to 4th level, you can either add 2 points to one skill, add 1 point to 2 abilities, or you can choose the "Hey y'all, watch this" feat.
When your redneck gets to 4th level, you can drop out and get a real job.
Lose 3 teeth,
no.
gain 2 points of strength.
That's when he gets to put the moves on his sister.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I was waiting for that joke, Bevan. I was waiting.
No, that's a redneck
Drop the
bard.
sister joke.
That's an Elon Musk.
What level does a
Well-
redneck bard have to do to make it into a Bevan Shingles novel?
Isn't that like an entry level, like level 0?
Depends.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Judy Black joining us at Authors and Dragons Con 2022, August 19th through 21st in North Carolina, Charlotte. You got your tickets yet?
How can I buy tickets?
How can you buy? That's a good question, Rick. You can go to www.authorsanddragons.com. You can click on the link to buy a ticket and also to book a hotel room at our special discounted rate. We're going to have all kinds of crazy guests. We're going to have the Chronicles of Calamity team. We're going to have the Calamity Janes. We're going to have the Salty Bastards. Some of those are the same people, but you know what I mean. We're also going to have Matt Dinnerman, MK Gibson, and just confirmed Scott Burtness. We're going to have a lot of really cool writers there. We're also going to have other guests who aren't writers. We're going to have the Shingles cast and crew with Steve Radzinski. So if you want to come and see some movie props, ask them some questions about how the filming experience went, you can do that.
I gotta wonder if Radzinski is going to ship some of the Shingles props ahead of time, because I'm wondering how you're going to fly with some of that stuff.
God, I want to watch TSA open up his luggage and find the dildo nunchucks.
And Slappy. I think he's doing photo ops with Slappy, isn't he?
Sloppy. Don't say slappy, mate. We will be sued by the Goosebumps estate.
My God, it's a good thing we have an ace sound tech on this podcast to overdub my bullshit.
No, I'm leaving that in. Fuck Goosebumps. Let them come at us.
We just to clarify, I notice we're all on video. Are we streaming?
No, we're not.
Okay.
No,
We're not streaming. We
Yeah,
are
we're-
recording the video,
Yeah, we're recording
cool.
it for the YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
but we are not
Welcome to-
currently live. We are not currently asking Bob Stein to sue us live on the internet. We're
Cool.
delaying
Excellent.
that.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Wait for after the fact.
He knows where to find us if he wants to sue us. Welcome into the fray, Joseph Bressy,
Oh,
Chronicles of Calamity and Salty Bastard, who will, of course, be at Authors and Dragons Con
I will.
2022.
oh, and Joseph, I managed to sell a few of those T-shirts over on TikTok there.
Oh, fantastic.
The positive masculinity barbarian.
Although you wear it slightly better than me, so fuck you.
Yeah. Modeling our merch, I might say, maybe the only guy who can effectively model our merch. Yeah, check out tpublic.com/authors and dragons. We got all kinds of t-shirts. They probably look better on Joe than they do on you, but yeah, give it a go anyway.
Like, no
Yeah, I
guarantee.
could effectively model them. It's a
Yeah.
different effect.
I can probably model them more effectively than any of you just because there's greater surface area. You'll get a bigger image on me just for coverage's sake.
That's fair. Yeah, effective could mean any number of things.
Yes, just remember, some positive masculinity barbarians have higher charisma than others.
I'm not sure which one of us that's a shot at, but I guess we can just assume all.
I'm pretty much saying almost all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a shit ton of questions across the Discord and the Facebook.
Oh, good.
I figure maybe we go back and forth between the two.
Okay.
That's it. So why don't we start with the Discord, because they pay us money and thus they get to cut the line.
Absolutely.
We're not saying we love them more, but
I will.
we're not saying we don't love them more.
Yeah, Bob and I are saying we love the Patreon patrons more.
So somebody bought me a drink tonight, and it wasn't the people who aren't on the Patreon. That's all I'm saying.
We'll start with the first question there. Our friend Kyle the Goof. Okay. If DC or Marvel would give you carte blanche to write for any hero, villain, or group, what characters would you use and what would you have them do? Oh, and whatever you do then becomes Marvel or DC canon.
You know what? I had back in the early aughts when I really got back into comic books, and it was mostly Marvel. I was one of those marvelous front-facing bastards or whatever it's called when you buy too many Marvel comic books. I did have an idea for a nice little short story that I could have maybe pitched to somebody of the point of view of an assassin in the Marvel universe, but not like a superpowered one, just like a mob assassin who gets a contract to kill somebody called Bruce Banner. But every time he tries it, the Hulk turns up. And it turns up that like this would have had to been a little bit earlier in the Bruce Banner continuity, where he actually paid someone in the underground to try and kill him unexpectedly so he could end the Hulk menace. I thought that'd be a nice little short story. But I don't know. I think we're probably maybe 15 years past that being interesting.
I mean, we're 25 years past most of the shit Marvel does being interesting, so
Yeah, it's true.
rock on.
Yeah.
True story.
I know exactly what I would do. Just to be a spiteful bastard, I would write the Fantastic Four, in which they show up at the house of writer Bobbert Revin and just don't leave, and he just piss him off as he just sits there trying to write his books, and he hates these people, but for some reason they keep dragging him along on their adventures.
Well, you could replace the Fantastic Four with any comic book hero.
Yeah, I was just gonna have Superman shit himself.
Wait, a superpowered way or just
No.
pedestrian?
Just like,
Oh my
okay.
god.
Maybe just like
God, a
as
superpowered
Clark Kent
shit.
in the newsroom or something, and it's awkward.
Super diarrhea.
Superpowered shit. Oh God.
Somebody spiked his coffee with kryptonite.
He might have to do that himself. He might have to drink a little bit of kryptonite in his coffee so that he doesn't like shit through the bottom of the toilet.
Definitely. I always assumed that Superman had to take like the opposite of Viagra in a kryptonite pill just to not absolutely murder Lois Lane. Just you got to keep that relationship,
They did.
less destructive.
There was some comic or show where they addressed that.
Mallrats.
No, this was actually something that DC made.
Well, all right. Well, they did that in Mallrats.
Are you sure?
too.
Because what was that movie, Hancock? There's a scene in that where
Oh,
he's,
yeah!
he's banging some chick and he's like, "No, you got to get off me real quick!" And he shoots through the top of his trailer.
Yeah, I mean, that's a funny scene, Rick, but you got to remember, he had to figure that out sometime.
Yeah, the first few times, like, oh shit, it happened again.
Just, he went home with a woman, he has a nice time, there's a red mist. It's like, oh, that's something I got to remember for the future.
Yeah, it's one of those deals like, well, the good news is there's not enough left of her to be identifiable.
Oh, Jesus.
The bad news is I just, blew out her asshole.
So, the good news and the bad news are the same bad news.
Yeah.
In that scenario.
Yeah.
And somewhere there's a coroner who's looking at this body going, "They do not pay me enough for this shit."
Well, that's the whole point, is there's not enough body. There's nothing left.
There's
some
pieces.
particle
They-
mist in the
they-
fucking orbit.
Like they're gonna, even if they find bits and pieces, they got to do an analysis.
Still, if you got to go, what a way to go.
Getting railed by Superman, I think I'll take a hard pass.
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
I think that might be the hard pass.
It'd be an incredibly hard pass, mate. That'd be a diamond hard pass.
I think I'd be dead before he ejaculates.
Well, we can but hope.
God damn it.
So thanks for being a guest on the show. This would normally be the time with a guest where I would apologize for our behavior, but I've known you for 10 years. You knew what you were getting into.
I completely knew what I was walking into. This is relatively tame, so this.
You're a period at the con. There's going to be at least like 7 people talking about how ferociously Superman ejaculates at any given time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just
Probably.
walk past like generic like things, and you'd just be like, yeah, and then Superman jacking it through through a concrete wall, and there's no surprise there.
Yeah, my first convention, I sold hentai at an anime con. So pretty much, that was it. I started at the top and all downhill from there. I was not legal at the time, so that was super great.
Just remember,
Wow.
unless it's made of lead, Superman can see right through that glory hole.
There's no surprise there. It's just another pleasure that has been robbed of him by his superpowers. It's
What
a curse.
cursed
sometimes.
existence.
Yeah.
Curse this mighty penis. Last dick of Krypton.
That's definitely a t-shirt idea.
That should be the name of the comic about the super shit, is The Last Dick of Krypton.
If we're talking about what comic book scenario you would write, cursed is super dick. You could get a good 12 issues out of that, at least.
Yeah, really stretch it out.
Oh, damn it. Jesus.
Yeah, almost anything would be like horrible. It's like he's like, I just want to take a piss, and I want up killing people like 6 doors down.
He takes a piss, and it's just like one of those laser things they use for mining.
So what you do is you cut you do a video cut of just find some scene in some movie where Henry Cavill goes to the bathroom, and then you immediately cut to the shot from Batman versus Superman with the lasers shooting out from inside the building.
And then you cut to one of those documentary footage where the entire building just collapses straight down in a plume of dust.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then you cut back and there's Cavill on the toilet.
I think Superman just pisses straight up into the sky every now and again.
Up
Satellite
and
falls.
away.
Oh, there's another meteor heading toward Earth. Let me unzip.
That's the responsible way for him to handle that, I imagine. He's going to destroy any mortal sewer system. Let's be fair.
Goodness.
Yeah. So there was a question, right? Did we
It was
answer it?
It was what Marvel or DC character would you write, and what would you have them do?
I did my part.
Superman peeing his name into the Antarctic.
And carving off glaciers.
So he could pee his name onto the moon.
In the DC universe, that is what is causing global warming.
If you're that guy, if you're that dude who lived on the moon for Umbrella Academy, are you thinking, could I write my name in the snow on the moon?
And it'd be there for eternity, providing no one...
But wouldn't your dick freeze off?
I don't know how superpowered he is. I don't know how brave he is. I think even if you're a mere mortal and you've got the opportunity to do that, I think I'd risk my dick freezing off to piss on the moon.
Well, that makes one of us.
There's a wonderful edit that someone did of a single panel from Watchmen with Dr. Manhattan just staring up at space, and the thought bubble is, I could teabag the whole world if I wanted to. Just drop my big blue sack down on a tectonic plate.
It's 1977 and I've got my giant blue balls out. Yeah,
I had to sit.
Photograph is in my hand.
I had to sit in the front row for that movie, and let me tell you, it felt like it. I'm just thankful that movie was not in 3D. Why can't I go home?
It's 2008 and Rick is staring at a giant blue cock.
I mean, look, it's 2022, and we don't know that he's not currently staring at a giant blue cock. We made a movie with nunchuck dildos.
I mean, technically, it's not blue, but I do have at least one giant cock here.
Well, that's all right then. That's a happy ending.
Whoopsie.
All right, do you want to maybe move up over to a question on the Facebook?
Yeah,
Please,
sure, we
God.
can do that. All right, let me see here. Oh boy, let's see here. Our friend Casey asks, if your A&D or Salty Bastards character ran a podcast, what would it be about and what form would it take?
That's a bit fucking meta, isn't it? If your fictional podcast characters ran a podcast.
There is no doubt that, like, that Silas would want to be the Alex Jones of, like, Galarion or whatever.
Oh,
But
Jesus.
what he would really be is that public access dude with the two plants and one chair and a pulpit and ranting. That's what Silas would really be, is that
Silas would be the
public
guy,
access
when in the beginning of a horror movie when somebody's driving through the rain and the radio is just blaring some ominous religious bullshit. That'd be Silas Kane's podcast.
And Torg will strike you down if you do literally anything.
Exactly.
Klaus
I
Richter, Superman taking a shit. I'll be right back.
Fendingo would probably be
Oh God, we can see the reflection in Bob's. Dear God.
Oh God, dear God.
You're Prince of Reflective, man.
I mean, the good news is he wasn't walking straight out of the garage to piss.
Yeah, the great news is he didn't decide to piss in the middle of his garage floor. He might. Stay tuned, everybody.
Have an action.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Fendingo would probably do a podcast about deep rock and roll cuts, like unreleased B-side stuff that only some big music nerd and people who live in the Pacific Northwest have ever heard of. That was just for you, babe.
Oh, no. I hear you.
There is no way Brandon Firemaster would have a podcast. He'd barely have a TikTok. Instagram is where he's found his sweet spot.
Instagram is where he shows off his sweet spots.
Oh, there is no way that Brandon would not be twerking on TikTok. No way.
I guess he'd see the benefit of, having more animation, but too many filters, man. I think he'd just be pure check out the cut Instagram. That's about it.
I definitely just heard check out the cock. Definitely what I just heard.
No, that's probably Fandango. OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's the secret Fendingo show.
I
Not
think
quite a podcast.
I think
Or a
Bjorg would get a
podcast.
TikTok, but he wouldn't understand it. So you would just get videos. You would just get videos of
Ooh, Bjorg would try to do a TikTok channel of him doing flower arranging, but he'd never figure out how to turn the camera around. So it would look just like that, and he'd be heavily focused doing flower arranging, but all we're ever seeing is seeing Bjorg up close. And
I don't understand this interface. What is this? Is this button here? Oh no, I fell down. That's Bjork's TikTok channel. Just hours and hours of that.
He'd probably have 10,000 followers in a week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be massively viral.
I mean, so would half the podcast, but for different definitions. We also spend a lot of time in the sewers.
I can't help but think that Klaus's podcast would be something similar. It would be just microbursts of him pushing a button where he's actually stopped the recording rather than started it.
Although, if
Just failing on a
follow,
basic sleight of hand check.
I was trying to separate myself from the character.
There's a little intertwined going on, buddy.
You have never separated yourself from the character since I've known you.
Klaus would 100% have the OnlyFans where it's just him jacking off 24/7.
The live stream.
Yeah.
The person who leaves the biggest tip every hour gets to change the flavor of lube.
Oh, Jesus.
You're welcome.
And none of the flavors are pleasant in the slightest.
And the sad thing is, Sorcerer would have the exact same channel.
Who knew there was capsaicin-scented lube?
Sorcerer would have a podcast on something else, but it would be misinterpreted.
Sorcerer would be getting that visit from Chris Hansen.
The actual scent here is durian.
Oh, God, no.
Ooh.
Sorcerer have a podcast on child rearing.
No.
That's criminal mind.
That's what it would. That's exactly what it would be called too.
Oh my god.
Just written in a way that the rearing part is just bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yep. We're now
Oh,
an
my.
SVU show.
All right, maybe we should pick another question.
We should absolutely.
different
Please,
question.
please, before Ice-T comes and arrests us all.
All right, here's a nice calm one. With the world on fire, our friend Corey asks, with the world on fire, how do you turn your brain off and relax?
Drugs.
Never been a problem.
I just remember that the world has always been on fire and do what my ancestors do, which is to eat dead animals, sleep, and do other less gentlemanly to mention things. You know, if in doubt, look to your caveman ancestors. They were being like fucked by dinosaurs. And they did exactly what we're doing today. They just didn't have internet. So we're doing all right.
I had a similar thing. I remember that the world is always like, the world has never been uniformly bad or good. Like there's always some part of the world.
It's no
that is
secret.
having-
Billy Joel told us this.
And so I don't know. Specifically about turning your brain off, right?
Sure.
Turning your brain off. Okay, cool. I don't really do that. But lately I've been listening to K-pop a lot. That's
Ooh, who you been listening to?
BTS.
You do that.
Yeah, dude, I love me some BTS.
Yeah, I saw them live in LA last year.
You should.
Jealous.
Have you ever tried Polka Dot Stingray?
No, I haven't, but I will now.
They're J-pop, but still a lot of fun.
Okay, killer.
Yeah, that's what you expect out of your friend from North Carolina to recommend you Japanese pop bands.
I'm all
I was
for
about
it.
to say, like, beer is like 3,000 years old. And I imagine more like naturally occurring things are older than that. But listening to people kind of just sing and dance in high-pitched voices, we've probably been doing that since early monkey times too. So, you know, the formula's always been there. It's great. Listen to people sing and dance, get fucked up a bit. The
If you're
war and
subscribed
chaos will
to-
take care of itself.
If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're now seeing the second cat to come visit for the podcast and run away.
We've also probably been looking at cats for like a long time historically.
Absolutely.
I mean, at least back to ancient Egypt.
And at
least-
one point they weren't, and at some point they stopped running away from cats and screaming.
Yeah,
Yeah, eventually cats got smaller. We're like, this isn't too bad. This is nice. They're not eating me.
Then we let them in our homes, and they destroy everything we own, and still try to eat our eyeballs when we sleep.
Some caveman somewhere found like the runt of the litter saber-tooth tiger and decided this is a good idea to keep as a pet.
He was probably related to me or Bob.
I was going to eat this, but it's funny. But again, it's a great human instinct.
Me, I guess whatever I do, I always try to keep at least some semblance of like business hours versus non-business hours. And when it's non-business hours, I like to turn on the TV, find something that has nothing to do with reality, and lose myself in it. Like some people are like, well, do you like watching romance or do you like watching dramas? I was like, no, I like watching people getting kung fu to death because that has nothing to do with reality, and I can watch that and know that whatever happens in this story, whether it's a happy ending or not happy ending, it's still stupid. So I don't really have to worry about it affecting my my universe. So that is my way, is to lose myself in usually something that is just dopey, as long as it has nothing to do with reality, which is why I like sci-fi and fantasy and all that stuff.
No, same boat. Yeah, I think there's a lot of argument about does fiction affect people? Do violent video games make people violent? It's like, I don't really care about that argument. If I want to watch somebody get exploded by a kung fu punch, I know it's not real. It's fine. It's great.
In my books alone, I have killed at least 500,000 people. In real life, 0. So
In real life, just 2.
0 that can be proven.
Mm.
I watched a lot of anime too.
Anime is also a good escape. I'm not a fan of the realism animes, but I love the animes that kind of like almost hit realism, but then they go batshit.
Like most of them. I
Exactly.
mean, like, if you want ultra sex and violence, anime is the way to go. You know what? Anime fans, I'm not threatened by them.
I once told my wife, because she was watching this one called Forest of Piano, and I was like telling her about Kengan Ashura. I was like, Kengan Ashura is exactly like Forest of Piano, but instead of playing music, they just punch each other.
Identical premise.
That's not the same at all. I'm like, but in a way, it kind of is.
Not the sweet knuckle music the same, really.
I wasn't kidding. I take drugs. Between Delta 8 gummies and melatonin, yeah, I turned my brain off the old-fashioned way with chemicals and cats.
Better living through pharmaceuticals.
By the way,
Yeah.
if you're not on our YouTube channel, then now you're missing 2 kitties at once. Jesus Christ, that hurts.
If you're not on our YouTube channel, you're missing John getting clawed the shit out of him.
If you're on the internet, you've had enough cats, man.
That is
Never.
not
Take
true.
a fucking break.
That is
No.
not. You posted a cat picture today.
Yeah, I posted one cat picture. You know what? It got the most engagement of anything I've ever posted.
Exactly.
You people have got a fucking problem.
Why do you think I post cat pictures to all my social media daily?
Well, you know, I know that people like heroin, John, but I don't sell it to them. You know why?
Because you don't have any. Because you don't have a really great connection for that.
I swear, I keep thinking to myself, if I was a smarter businessman, I would just make an OnlyFans page for our cats and probably retire within a month.
Yeah, I mean, like, they look down on fucking cats now, but I reckon in about 5 years' time or so, it'll be socially acceptable. It's inevitable. Cat fucking OnlyFans. Stay tuned. 2027, let's say. See you then.
Meow.
So Judy, how about you?
Yeah, I watch anime and foreign dramas or action so that I am forced to focus on the subtitles, because otherwise I will just sit with my phone and doom scroll while watching TV, which is completely unhelpful. But if there are subtitles and a plot I don't understand, I'm sold. So it's great, you
Like
know,
that.
there's 18 random dudes in a room talking about the MacGuffin of this universe, and I don't know who any of them are. Cool, alright, I'm confused and intrigued. Let's go.
There was a beer commercial a while back, and it basically was like, "Why are foreign films so foreign?" And I'll admit, occasionally I'll put on something I'll put in some Japanese horror and sit down and watch it, and it's usually terribly enjoyable, but at the same time it's kind of like, the fuck drugs were they smoking when they came up with this lack of plot?
That's an
and
excellent
if you-
point.
that's- yeah.
What Judy said. I was watching the latest Better Call Saul today, and that's such a meticulously well done drama. I literally put my phone in a different room and turned the light out and just said, just watch it, you short attention span motherfucker.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because I started doing that when I was working in nursing in 2020, and I was just like, let's do something that requires me to think of literally nothing but what happening in front of me. I still didn't understand most of what was going on in the dramas I was watching, and there were 300 characters with names I didn't understand, but it was great. Eventually we got there. It only took 50 episodes or whatever. So, yeah, and then I also watch a lot of Let's Plays of video games, particularly horror games. I like horror, but also the old school Nancy Drew games, which are the most ridiculous, absurd nonsense I've ever seen in a video game ever. They're amazing. Nancy dies repeatedly if you make slight mistakes, which is amazing for a Nancy Drew game.
It's great for teen detectives.
She survived 47 novels, but you just murdered her because you picked the wrong door.
Video games?
Yeah, Her Interactive makes them. There's a ton of them.
They were hedging
fun.
their bets. They were like, do you want to play a teenage detective? Do you want to murder a teenage detective?
Yeah, like there's one. It's a stupid puzzle of like, you're in a dark room and it's dark, so you can't see anything, and you're just supposed to know where to click, and a misclick, and suddenly the room explodes and Nancy's dead. Start over.
God. You know somebody's out there being like, I'm having a lot of fun with this Nancy Drew snuff game.
This
really
shit
needs to be a brodeo. This needs to be a brodeo.
Seriously.
There are a ton of them, and they are all totally, completely ridiculous, and there are many of them in which Nancy dies in incredible ways.
I need this in my life.
Yeah, no, I would never before have thought I wanted to play a Nancy Drew game, but now suddenly I do.
The next Mortal Kombat edition that comes out, I want Nancy Drew as a playable character.
I don't know if you want her as the playable character given her high death rate of being dead. She doesn't have very many confirmed kills.
She's not there to fight. She's there to get fatality. That's all I'm about.
Yeah, like for every character's fatality, it's just them reaching off the screen, dragging a Nancy Drew, and just using her as like a bludgeon.
Solve this mystery, Nancy. Where's your spine?
Yeah, most of them end with Nancy like beating the crap out of somebody or using something else. My favorite is I think Russian trained killer whale.
Jesus.
Nice.
Helps her take down the bad guys. They're great. Like the games are completely ridiculous.
Yeah. I think Nancy Drew could hold her own in Mortal Kombat. He's like, I've got ice powers. He's like, well, fuck you. Here's a whale.
Here's a killer whale trained by the military. What? Why do you have that? Don't ask.
Holy shit! They're like the Hardy Boys are weak sauce compared to this shit.
Yeah, they show
Nancy
up.
Drew shows up and she's just like, I've seen shit.
Yeah, they show up and they're like, wow, Nancy, what are you doing? And she's like, get out of the way. I'm on the hunt for a killer. They're amazing. If you haven't watched somebody play them, they're A+. They're great.
I will absolutely do that. That sounds like a wonderful magical cornucopia.
Are these available on PlayStation?
I don't think so. I think they're mostly online or through like Steam.
Okay.
But I think one is on mobile.
Are there any on Mac?
Oh, I don't think so. Her Interactive. Oh, the games also look like they were all created in a like 1993 PlayStation that you ordered from Wish.
Wow, that is a sentence.
So the graphics they add to the chaotic fun of the Nancy Drew games. They truly are a work of art.
Wow.
And the voice acting, my god.
Yeah, I need this in my life.
I don't know if any of them are on Mac, but yeah.
I gotta go, y'all. I hear my mom's calling me or something.
I'm glad I could introduce you.
There was a golden age of kind of video games that had a lot of video footage in it. They were just all about murdering shit.
I wouldn't say that there was a golden age.
That depends. I mean,
somebody got a lot of gold in that age.
They existed in that age where they just got kind of like video clips to be able to play in video games, and they realized they could murder teenagers in video games rather than just in movies. It was a pioneering age.
When you could actually buy those games on VHS, and like it would be like okay, if you choose X, fast forward to this time frame. Oh, you died.
That's true. That was a more depressing time. I'm really glad we live in the future. The past was bullshit.
Yeah. Dial-up was awful.
Yeah, it was.
And there's somebody out there who bought all of those Nancy Drew games on Betamax.
All these Gen Zs out there going, "Oh wow, Stranger Things, weren't the '80s great?" No, It wasn't. It wasn't
No.
great.
No, they were
Back in
they
the
were pretty
80s, like,
terrible.
it was a great Twitter thread where someone was like, I don't think I can properly explain to you how brown everything was in the 1980s.
I
It was
had
just a picture of one of those glass ashtrays.
Oh God.
I had a friend whose family went all in on Laserdisc.
Oh no.
Oh. No, I'm actually, Rick. I'm going to stop you there. Laserdiscs are fucking cool.
If you like LP sized CDs, that would
I do.
maybe work once before they got scratched.
Yeah, but there's just something magical about them, man. It's like Tron in real life.
Yeah, but after you played it once, it got scratched, and all you could do was fucking hurl it at somebody.
Yeah, but if you had laser discs, you were rich enough to do that, so it was fine.
That is a good
yeah.
point. Yes, if you were rich enough to be foolish enough to afford Laserdisc, you were also rich enough to not give a shit.
Back when VHS copies of new movies were like $75-$80.
Yeah.
Tell me, are you rich or are you Laserdisc rich?
That's, yeah, Laserdisc, cocaine, Terry Pratchett.
Yeah. It's the most obtuse form of media.
That's what I'm gonna say from now on. I need the fucking Laserdisc money.
Yeah, because if I recall, they had one of those big screen TVs, but not like our big screen TVs today. It was like the big screen CRT or like cathode ray tube. So it was like, hey, it's like it's 40 inches wide and it weighs 9,000 pounds.
Yeah, my one of my friends when I was growing up had her dad had basically one of those. I think it was like an 80-inch TV, but it was a tube TV.
Oh,
So
man.
it was like this gigantic monstrosity that took up an entire chunk of the room, and I think we watched Titanic on it once.
And that was one of those things. If that tipped over on you, well,
You're dead.
that was it.
That was back when being a delivery man used to be cool. Yeah, my family used to run nightclubs, and we didn't have flat screen TVs. So in order to get the chic look, they'd have to build the TV into the wall. They'd have builders come around and go, "Okay, we're gonna get the flat screen experience. We're just gonna have to take out 80% of this supporting wall to do it."
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean,
And then you get the TV mounted, and everything looks great, and then you realize that nobody ran wire to the TV.
I need to like screw in my Atari 2600 dongle and turn to channel 3.
Oh God.
Yeah. And make sure the channel selector switch on your Atari is set correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
God.
Also, you can watch the repeating 15 minutes of VH1. Man, yeah. Don't let anyone tell you that the past was good. Whenever anybody starts getting nostalgic about anything, just slap them with a smartphone, preferably.
Or you could use one of the cell phones from the 80s, because that'd be big enough to just kill them with.
Yeah.
I remember the very beginning of the like 1990s Casper the Friendly Ghost movie, and they're like these thieves are trying to infiltrate the house, and like one of them reaches for a gun and pulls out this giant brick cell phone instead, and you're left wondering for a second, how the fuck were they hiding that in their coat? It should have been like a bulge the size of a basketball.
To be fair, we had oversized clothes in the 90s specifically for that. If you wanted to hide a shotgun or a cell phone, the 90s was the ideal fashion
all
era.
you needed was your MC Hammer pants.
Yeah.
You can hide an arsenal in those.
God.
Or a couple of friends. Your entire dance crew could be in there with you. And really, if you were wearing MC Hammer pants, you had a dance crew. I assume.
That's
I
true.
never wore MC Hammer pants.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
from fucking South
Pants
Carolina.
crew.
Is Facebook up next for questions?
Yep, hit us with one.
We lost track.
While we're stuck here in the 90s.
Friend Christopher asks, two-parter. First, what is the worst decision you've made as a party? And secondly, how did the DM play it out? I'm gonna guess not that. I mean, we could do our group, or we could do our own individual groups.
Have we made any good decisions?
Yeah, the other groups I play, I'm the DM, so I'm the one that has to deal with shit. So for the group I DM for, probably the real winner was when the party's bard was offended that the local tavern wouldn't let her play in place of their house bard who sucked. So she shot him, except she missed, and she killed a turnip farmer that was standing next to the house bard, and then there was jail.
Yeah.
A party so this happened before I joined the group, but a story that's frequently told in one of my regular D&D groups is apparently a pot of lantern oil was just randomly thrown in the basement they were in the basement of a castle in like a moonshine and wine cellar, and an incendiary device was thrown in the middle of the moonshine and wine cellar, and long story short, the castle ended up collapsing because they blew out the foundations.
Yeah, I did
God,
something
that sounds
similar.
like our party.
Yeah, I did something similar in a Star Frontiers campaign. My character was supposed to be a demolitions expert, except I wasn't really very good at it. So I was supposed to use like an ounce of this explosive to blow up this enemy encampment, and instead I used an entire kilo.
No.
So so it's like, okay, the explosion goes off. You wake up several weeks later with all of your limbs being replaced with cybernetics.
That sounds awesome.
Well, one of our characters was this character who was this race that was essentially I guess made of like living rubber. So basically, these cybernetics just effectively destroyed his entire character.
Oh
Because
no.
they weren't like stretchable.
No.
Only your torso can stretch.
So afterwards, the fallout from that was they of course all blamed me, and we wound up hijacking a ship, and then they stranded me on a planet.
Gee, how in the world could they blame you for that thing that you did that's obviously
Yeah,
your
such
fucking fault?
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot of the games you're involved in end up with your partners getting revenge on you in some way. Is that just a usual thing for you?
I mean, I did have one game, and so we were running from an Ifrit on the elemental plane of air, and I was a monk character, so I was like pacing this guy, doing pretty well. I pull out, but stupidly I decided to pull out my deck of many things and draw a card, even though that was in no danger of being caught by this thing. And I pull out the card for imprisoned by an extraplanar entity. So the DM is like, okay, you trip and fall, and the Ifrit cat grabs you and captures you. And immediately afterwards, the party got into like a real life fight, like a real life argument. And after the campaign just broke up.
So you drew a deck of many things and killed the entire campaign.
The argument was not mine.
Sensing a pattern here, Rick.
One of my characters also died in the midst of a real life argument. All right, so the dungeon master had given one of the other guys a cursed sword, and because of that, he was acting like a dick to all the other players, but he couldn't, and all the other characters, and the players started to take it personally. What are you acting like this for, man? And like, in the meantime, I was swallowed by a dragon, and yeah, and while they were fighting with each other, nobody was killing the dragon, and I got digested.
Once again, there may be a pattern developing.
Oh yeah, I've been. Rick wasn't the first person to let me get digested.
Oh God. The very first D&D game I ever played in, had no idea what I was doing. We end up in a cave, walk in, oh, it's dark. Well, that's a problem. Do we have torches? Well, you didn't buy any. okay, well, I realize my character doesn't get any benefits to their armor because they're just wearing cloth armor, so I just had my character take off all their clothes, wrap it around a stick, light it on fire, and go running through the cave. Turned out to be an acid cave.
Oh no.
Mistakes were made. Ended up breaking the DM's forced moral choice by lifting up a boulder instead of pushing the boulder to one side or the other, because it was either you crush a bunch of eggs or you get a bunch of money, and I was like, well, how much does the boulder weigh? Which should have been a cluing in question. So then I Tenzored floating disked the boulder out of the way and nakedly crawled my way under it to go and investigate the money, which was fake, and then the dragon showed up and was like, what the hell are you doing in my house, naked tiefling? And that was the first game.
And every game after that was pure pornography.
Oh, it was great. That was a good one.
I was gonna say that could be a book series. He mentions a naked tiefling, and I guarantee you would probably outsell everything else we've ever written.
Yeah.
To the dragon, that is the equivalent of the pizza guy turning up.
Yeah, that tiefling shows up.
Did somebody order?
That tiefling shows up in every game.
Mind the dispatcher said there's something wrong with trying to cobble.
What are you doing, step tiefling?
Oh no.
Yeah, that was the first game I ever played in, and good old 4th edition.
Oh, 4th edition. Ugh.
God bless 4th edition. The reason we started this podcast on Pathfinder.
Yeah. D&D meets Pokemon,
Yeah.
but not
But
not
none of the
well.
fun stuff from either.
Anyone else?
I think we all actually answered that one.
Well, I didn't, because I'd never played D&D before the podcast, and from your old stories, I'm never playing it outside the podcast either. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
It really
you live in Corby, Steve. So I imagine like any attempt to get a D&D game going just ends in a fist fight, and every D&D game after that ends in a fist fight.
every time I go out for a drink, it's a D&D game, mate. It's just live action. We got orcs, we got leprechauns, got all kinds of random violence. I don't need the fantasy.
All right. Well, moving back to Discord, our friend Heinous Lizard asks, between you guys and the Janes, what would it take to get an A&D cookbook made?
Someone to write it. Someone to do the layout for it. Someone to produce it. Someone to edit it. Someone to buy it. And someone to project manage the whole goddamn thing.
Well, gee, thank you for that boring ass answer.
6 people that are not involved in any of the shows currently.
Whoever asked this has never had me cook for them, clearly.
Well, there's also the fact that my cooking consists of what's in the fridge, throw it in the air fryer for 350 until it doesn't look like it's going to murder me.
My cooking is pretty good, but I mean, it's my characters who would make it bad.
I once made a recipe that required wine, and I misjudged it so badly. I got really fucking drunk eating this stew.
Dude, I got something for you. So, you're supposed to make cheese fondue with wine. Well, the last couple times we've made it, I haven't had wine, and we don't really have wine in the house, but we have had sake. And let me tell you, that makes
the same thing.
That makes awesome fondue. But damn, you don't want to go driving after that fondue.
It says the flavor of wine, but this just vodka, right? Just put a bottle of vodka in. It's fine. Vodka cheese.
I would put my mulled wine recipe in said book, and I by recipe I mean I would have to figure out how to write down what I actually do, because I do it entirely by like sense and taste now. But it's like 2 bottles of red wine, 1 bottle of port, cup of vodka, and a bunch of spices, and it will flat out, like one of my yardsticks for whether or not it's ready is if I lean over to smell it and I cough from the alcohol content.
Yeah, but you'd have to write it like Bjorg. You'd be like pour in these thing, and take a drink. Can you still see? You have not done it right.
Drink. Yes. Pour wine in. Have another drink.
And comparatively, I actually cook pretty well, but like, if I were to put a Silas recipe in there, I'd have to find a way to make it awful.
Yeah.
Hardtack covered in rocks.
It's like so at the end of this gumbo recipe, then take a steaming shit in it because that's what Toreg wants for you.
Silas's page would just be a page just saying, "You don't deserve food."
It's just a blank page. Consume this if you have courage.
Sorry, what
being
was the
hunger
question?
is a sign of weakness. What would it take to get an A&D cookbook made?
Klaus Richter would stab animals, hold them over the fire, and then take bites out of them.
That's
It's the wolves all
canonically
over
correct. Yeah. He has done that several times in the podcast.
And often
No,
warm
I made
pieces
clothes out of them. Yes.
That would be great.
Yeah.
It's like to go outside, catch a squirrel, hold squirrel over fire, make boots out of the squirrel.
Make boots for your ferret out of the squirrel.
His name is Ron Weasley Jeremy. How difficult is this?
Not hard at all. Still a ferret.
Ron Weasley Jeremy. It's either a weasel or a small ginger boy. Probably best not to ask which one.
Or a porn star.
Oh, small ginger porn star.
One day we'll just speak with animals and be like, I have been thrice cursed.
The weirdest orgy you ever saw.
Oh, that'd be great if depending on the day, it just randomly appeared as a weasel, a small ginger boy, or a porn star.
Ow. Should have
time.
used more punctuation in that summon familiar scroll, buddy.
Like summon over familiar.
Jesus.
I was proud of that one. Let's move on to the next
Yeah, that was
question.
Yeah.
I'm riding high on that.
All right. So, our friend Christopher again asks, "What is the biggest problem you face when making a character, either in Lit or in D&D?" Assuming Lit means
Names, I
literature.
guess.
Yeah, names are a bitch.
I love making characters and I love coming up with names.
I think
Zero problems.
I think my biggest challenge, especially with like characters, is occasionally forcing myself to make a character who's not batshit in some way, just to prove that I can play like a character who's not completely batshit. I don't do
Is
it
there any
often because it bores the
documentation of
fuck out of
this?
me. Well, I'm playing actually a relatively normal cleric in my real life or my other game right now, and again, just to just to occasionally remind my my other group that yes, I am capable of playing characters like this. I just don't like to.
You're playing a normal character out of spite.
That's
Pretty
amazing.
much. And let me tell you, some nights it is difficult because like I come across a scenario and I'm just like, yeah, but my character can't do that.
So yeah, here's my character. He's called Jonathan Smith, and he's a human from Wisconsin, and he's a Mormon cleric. Let the adventure begin.
Wow. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, if we do another podcast, I am playing that character. So, backseat.
Norman the Mormon.
I can't heal, but I can have more than the usual amount of wives.
Roll for cult influence.
you just call them your familiars.
Right, I'm writing that down.
No.
Damn. Hardest part about creating characters for me is, God, it's not. I don't really struggle with names. I get hung up on backstory. That's easier in books for whatever reason than it is at tabletop. I'm not sure exactly why. Backstory. It's been like, God, it's been 7 years, and Bjork's backstory is still incredibly vague in my head.
Well, it's probably because in a book you can put down that backstory as the story's
Yeah.
going on. In the game, you kind of have to force everybody else to read that backstory, and sometimes they're just not listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can collaborate with E.M. Kaplan and she can write the fucking backstory for you.
Yeah. Huh.
Honestly, one of the hardest things for me in books is making all of my people not sound like either a Waylon Jennings song or a Joss Whedon TV show.
Oh yeah, it can be. I was thinking about that recently, like the Whedon / Aaron Sorkin style of super quippy dialogue, where everyone's just like kind of generically witty, is such an easy trap to fall into.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be light and shade.
I run into it with editorial too. I'll be putting notes in a book. I'm like, all these people sound the same. Maybe one of them shouldn't be clever.
Yeah.
Like in real life.
Yeah. There's always one.
Yeah, I guess I'm similar with backstory, but in the opposite way. I tend to have over-involved, very complicated, long backstories for everything. And in tabletop, it's pretty ridiculous, because I'll be running a game as a DM. I've got 19 NPCs that have these incredibly intricate backstories that are going to never see the light of day, because my players are never going to actually ask anything relevant. But, you know...
Now we're talking,
yes!
Yeah.
And, you know, then every once in a while they suddenly hone in on a detail that the one detail I hadn't planned out, and suddenly that's all they're going to ask about. And I'm like, you little shits, look here.
I want to show up to a game with the exact opposite. Where it's like, hey, here's my fighter, and like, he grew up in a happy family, nothing happened. He just decided one day, I like money and I have nothing better to do, so I'm a fighter now. That's my backstory. It's actually interesting in my current live group. They're like over the moon for NPC backstories. They're constantly mining people's for details, including the person they were committing a war crime on.
Yep.
They're like,
well, you got to make it personal, Joe.
Well, we need to find out this guy's history. I'm like, you mean the guy whose skull you just bounced on the concrete floor?
That guy.
We want to know what he's about. Bounce.
Poor Oleg Masterson. That'll teach you ass for backstory.
I mean, look, waterboarding is an effective information gathering technique, so they could be drawing out backstory and committing war crimes all at the same time.
My 4th edition Scion did that, because they had an ability in 4th edition where Scions could like telepathically reach into people's head and manipulate things and force memories and things out. So he would be quietly doing that while everyone else is talking about the merits of torture and if that's good or bad. And he's just like, I'm going to rip your brain out through your nose right now. Hold on.
Oh, I fucking hate psionics in the game. In my last game, I had this one character, and it was always like, it's like, I detect psychic significance. And I'd have to keep making up this bullshit,
Yeah, Scions are a big pain in the ass. I love them. That was the one who ran naked through the cave. Was that lovely creature?
Of course it was.
He could read brains. That didn't mean he had a brain. Big difference.
I mean, the next time like anyone runs into a group of street thugs or bandits, it's like, what is the motivation of these NPCs? Why are they out hurting people? It's like they're just a group of lads who really want to know your backstory.
Give me the details!
And they're gonna beat it. They're gonna beat it out of you.
That would be great. I am 1,000% gonna throw that at my players in my game now.
Just fists their hand in the collar of your shirt, pulls back at fist, and goes, "Tell me
your tragic history."
We're bored youth in the Middle Ages. We don't have any fucking internet. Tell me your backstory.
You look weird. Tell me your story. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear your story. Have you ever talked to anybody like that tried to tell you about something? And, oh my God, shut up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, literally every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're naming in tabletop games is the worst.
Well, we as I don't mean us as a group, but like collectively, authors are the worst because we always want people. Here is my writing journey. Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got this great story in my head. Good for you, man. Good for you. Keep it there.
Like, well, my writing journey is hopefully to shut up. That's what your writing journey is.
It's like dreams. Nobody wants to hear your dreams.
Oh.
So you just have to be like, like me, because my dreams are fucking awesome. So I'm going to insinuate them into fiction and trick you into reading them.
I was going to say, unless you're fucking somebody, then people want to hear your dreams.
Depends on who.
Oh yeah, but the sex dream and I'm in it. Let me know.
If you have a sex dream and I'm in it, don't let me know.
Oh, you were the first one I'm
If you
telling.
have a sex dream and John's in it, don't let me know.
Yeah. No.
No, I take it back. You're not the first one I'm telling. Our Discord is the first one I'm telling.
Yeah.
I actually did tell Discord about my sex dream the other day. And you too can join our Discord if you sign up to the Orphans and Dragons Patreon for just $5 a month. You can hear at least one sex dream
Ever.
a month. I shouldn't really commit to that.
Yeah, don't commit to
We'll
that.
see what happens.
Yeah.
No, I can't guarantee that. I'm a
Adding
middle-aged
Patreon
man.
tiers that we can't.
We can't
We must be
legally or
professional.
morally.
We're professional Patreoners now.
For sufficient Patreon funds, I'll just make up a sex dream.
That is quite true.
I'll just lie.
What's that number, Joe?
I'll get back to you when I can
We'll
think
work
about
out
it,
the,
like, a
the
lot of money.
specifics later.
work out the specifics later. I'll just
There are going to be commas involved in that number,
there will
right?
be commas. Yeah.
I am
Filthy commas.
I am immensely enjoying the Discord. The group, they're wild. This is
Oh yeah.
immensely entertaining.
Great bunch of
It's a
people.
good crowd.
Yeah. It's like they're a wonderful group of caring assholes.
Yeah, I'd recommend joining the Patreon, even if you don't actually enjoy the podcasts or anyone on
It's a
it.
good community.
Yeah,
Yeah, our Discord people are much nicer than us.
I am
Yeah.
waiting for that, for somebody to like pledge like a $1.50 and just be like, I have never listened to the podcast. I've never read any of these books. I don't even give a shit, but I like this community.
just want to hang around with some cool people. That's fine.
Well-
That's fair.
Didn't we
I'll still take your money.
have that at like A&D Con last year? Somebody bought a Sunday ticket because they like wandered through on Saturday, thought we were funny, and came back and bought the ticket for Sunday.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, I think we did, and I think it's like somebody brought like also like their cousin or something along, and they had no idea who the fuck we were, or like or what we did.
Oh no.
Why would you do that to someone?
That's
But
so-
I'm glad they did.
I mean, they're family, so they kind of
That's what cousins are for.
right. You're supposed to torment them.
I mean, especially if you don't like me, I have kids, and that's the best part about having kids is I want to go do something, but I don't want to look like that weirdo who's by himself. So you're coming with me, and you don't
wanna-
have a choice.
Speaking
You
of
don't-
tormenting your cousins and or children, Orphans and Dragons Con, August 19th, 21st.
Don't ask why I want to hang out by an elementary school. Just fucking go, huh?
What's the matter, Rick? You don't want to be the nearly 50-year-old dude sitting at the card shop playing Magic the Gathering every Friday night that you're not working? Yeah. I will bring Magic decks to Authors and Dragons Con if people want to play.
Speaking of being a nearly 50-year-old dude playing Magic every Friday night, Orphans and Dragons Con, August 19th, 21st. Get
That's
your tickets
right.
now.
What a smooth sales pitch.
Yeah, that's a segue.
Yeah, if that doesn't move at least 25 tickets, I don't know what will.
I don't know. Well, yeah.
I think we're back to the Discord now.
Yep. All right. So here's I guess kind of a similar related question. Let's say the Shingles movie slingshots you into the next level of fandom and celebrity. What do you do to keep the momentum going?
More shingles.
Yeah, Shingles too.
Is the next level of fandom and fame someone occasionally recognizes us at conventions without reading our name tags?
Yeah, because I was going to say the next level of celebrity fandom, we got enough for at least a dozen Shingles movies if need be.
I probably end up taking my clothes off at some point.
You got to keep the attention focus where it counts. That's true, Joe. I would also just direct you to Joe being naked. That would be my level up as well. I'd just be like, we're doing a Will Smith. Yeah. But no, I've already been.
Wait. Which version of Will Smith are you doing?
Oh, the
Not-
promotional one, not the one that destroyed his career.
No,
Not
I
the
was gonna
slap
say,
the shit out of Chris Rock one. The one we like.
I was gonna say the next A&D
Oh,
con.
it's the
It's
one
naked
you
Joseph
like.
Brassey walking on stage and just slapping the shit out of all of us.
I'm a fucking comedic
Actually.
performer, mate. It's not the one I like. Will Smith can sit the fuck down. But no, I think I've already been reported to social services for being associated with the Shingles movie, so I can only assume the next level of fame for me is prison. So yeah, more Shingles stuff.
What are you in for, bub? Shingles.
I didn't
Turn
ask
to
what you-
camera. Turn to camera as you go into jail. Wink. Thumbs up.
Fame.
Oh God. Shingles 56. I meant to drop the soap.
It's like, what do you do to keep the momentum going? Apparently 5 to 8 with good behavior.
That'll work for Hitler.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, come on. That was a historically accurate joke.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
What's next?
Okay, hold on. Let me get back over to the Facebook.
Because I think we've pretty well dialed in that our idea of the next level of fame would be any level of fame. So
Not quite Hitler levels. That was just a joke.
Preferably
It's
not.
Yeah, that's not the kind of notoriety.
Yeah, I don't-
That's not the kind of fame I'm after.
Well, I don't want the type, but the level I could do.
Oh my God.
All right, kids, turn to your history books to the A&D, the Authors and Dragons chapter, a dark chapter in American history.
Yeah.
accurate.
Maybe a few
Level
TMZ
is
articles.
High level.
Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I don't think this person actually expected their question to be asked, so I'm going to ask it for the sake of it. Our friend Jamin says, "What advice do you have for someone attempting to hypnotize a honey badger? On a related note, any good tips for what you do when you get severe lacerations?"
Ooh.
Well,
I don't want to be known for the same things as Hitler.
Yeah, well, here,
I'm saying-
we'll answer this question.
Is
Hitler
he,
wasn't
is
known
he
for
not?
hypnotizing honey
Is he not
badgers.
famous?
how about we just say that Bob wants to be as famous as Jesus?
Yeah, that's the only other kind of level of fame without being an evil bastard. And to do that, you do have to die for humanity's sins. So
come to Authors and Dragons Con August 19th
we'll be
21st and
crucifying
see
Robert
if we
Bevan.
crucify Robert Bevan.
I'll shoot myself in the head first.
And let's just be very clear: Robert Bevan will not be wearing a Bill the Vampire shirt.
Unless I buy Bob a Bill the Vampire shirt and make it all really meta.
If we could just get you in the Sorcerer and the Sorcerer costume and nail you to a cross, I think that would be the next stage of your career, Bev.
I've already got a picture like that.
Of course you have. Of course you have.
I can't post that here, but 'cause I don't know how.
You can't post that anywhere.
No, I can't. It's on my website.
You know, I crucified a bunch of people in plays over the years.
Hmm.
I think most people manage to go through their whole career and not crucify anybody. I did 3.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of theater people probably have done that.
But mine was not in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay. Yeah.
So now we've narrowed the field. a
Okay,
lot.
that has narrowed it.
It
Okay.
was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Come on, we all remember that scene in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang when the car is hung up on the cross and nails are driven through its tires.
A funny thing happened on the way to the crucifixion.
Oh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we love you. The Romans come in and go, "Oh, do you?" Right, we'll sort that out.
No, I don't even know Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Never. What's that rooster? What?
Hypnotizing a honey badger.
Hypnotizing a honey badger.
That'd be a
We're
good
supposed
ending.
to talk
Cats there. It's like, oh, you think you're gonna fly off? No, we're just gonna crucify you.
Same thing. It's a metaphor. It's fine.
So, I mean, as far as hypnotizing a honey badger, I mean, obviously you need to carry a pocket watch on a chain. Duh.
Yeah.
No. Honey badgers are more attracted to a circular hypnotic motion as opposed to a back and forth hypnotic motion. So the only real solution to hypnotizing a honey badger is to drop your pants and take your dong and spin it around like a helicopter.
How did I fucking know you were
Directly
going
in-
with the helicopter thing the second you?
Yep.
I was like, fuck, he's going to talk about
because
doing
you've
the
been on this
helicopter.
podcast for 6 years with the rest of us.
It's
That's how
the
you know.
obvious way to hypnotize a honey badger. Clearly.
And
Just basic science.
Just do the
given
dick
the
roll.
proximity of your nuts to your femoral arteries, you don't have to worry about treating lacerations. You'll be dead in about 2.5 minutes.
Probably faster than that once you go down.
Yeah, because it's
No,
not going to
once the
stop
honey
with the
badger goes
function.
down.
Yeah.
There we are.
I was guessing that you'd at least be able to make the honey badger miss once.
I think I would hypnotize a honey badger by starting a right-wing conspiracy YouTube channel.
Oh god, that got dark.
I'm
on.
talking about helicopter dicking a honey badger and Steve.
We're talking about
God.
an effective way to hypnotize a honey badger.
We are
You
our
want
own
results, don't
pocket
you?
watch, dick joke, right-wing conspiracy theories here. Just
Yeah, that just kind of went. That
That did not, however, go far out in left field. That was right.
that's right, Phil.
Just that.
I've got to have that honey badger saying all kinds of shit. He's got to be voting in a very detrimental way.
Yeah, this honey badger's hanging off John's dick, screaming about the world being flat and the moon landing being faked.
Taxation is theft.
That was an excellent honey badger impression. Excellent.
Oh God! If somebody could please animate that.
Please.
If a honey badger could talk,
Yes.
probably would. You know, they had an opinion on taxation. I reckon it'd have that opinion.
After being hypnotized, absolutely.
Especially if it was hypnotized by a right-wing honey badger channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't stand a chance.
There are a lot of
at that
right-wing
point.
honeypot channels, so.
You're not wrong.
Badging on.
The next A&D t-shirt is just a big B on in white on a black t-shirt. Just that's it. Just for badging on.
Badging on.
God.
People will just assume we're hawking Bitcoin.
Badger coin.
Yeah, badge coin.
Badge coin. God.
Badger coin. Look, the whole the virtual currency thing has died. It's gonna come back. I think we can get on the ground floor with badge coin.
I like how Crucified Sorcerer just appeared there, and Bob didn't say shit.
Sorry, did you say badge coin?
Speaking of viable NFTs,
Oh God.
Oh my God! How are you not selling Sorcerer NFTs yet?
Because that's a bunch of bullshit. I don't know.
he says
I
next
agree,
to
but-
his Sorcerer Jesus.
Holy fuck.
It's the resurrection spell.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think now that we leveled up, Fandango can actually take that spell.
Oh, dear God.
That needs to be like a new curse in somebody's book. Sorcerer H Christ.
Father, the
Sweet
Son, and the
shit.
Sorcerer.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, when you think about it, is it less blasphemous? No, that's a conversation for another podcast.
Sweet Sorcerer Pollyanna Christ.
Now we need one of Sorcerer in a Pollyanna costume.
Jumping
Yes!
Sorcerer Christ.
Jumping Sorcerers!
I don't want to see that jumping.
Oh my God. Officer the Dragon's Con, August 19th, 21st. See the Jumping Sorcerers.
Well, actually, I mean, you probably will, because are they not? They're doing a Sorcerer haunted crawl, if I recall.
Haunted
Which,
pub crawl.
Get there on a Friday. If you show up in your Sorcerer costume, I can't guarantee any of this, but there probably will be somebody dressed as Sorcerer who might jump up and down at least once.
You should sign up for the Patreon so you can be on the Discord and be part of that planning.
I'm just waiting for the headlines the next day where it's like red robed cultists have invaded Charlotte.
Oh God. I always wonder, Hartness, that Arkansas convention we went to, I always wonder if we were in the paper after the fact. I never looked. I bet we were. The one with the cow washing.
The one where they were vacuuming
cows.
Yeah,
the cow vacuum one. Yeah, I wonder if we were in the paper. They did think we were part of a circus or something.
Well, I mean, we went to the Pizza Inn with Cousin It.
And Shorty.
So, yeah. So we walked in with a guy, with Felix Sia, who's like 3'6", I think.
Yeah.
And our friend Shorty, who's close to 7 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness. And he looked like that troll from the Harry Potter movie.
Yep, the first one in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Shorty kind of looked like that.
Wow.
That was the night that Judy thought she was going to die.
It is. I'd never met Shorty before in my life, and I just opened the door to the troll from Harry Potter standing there. And I was just like, I didn't think it'd be in the middle of bumfuck Arkansas, but my time has come, I guess.
So this is how I die.
I was remarkably calm about the whole thing. I just accepted my fate and opened the door and was like, come on in!
The best part was
was
that she had to take 3 steps back to see his head.
Yeah, Shorty's almost 2 feet taller than me, because I'm 4'10"-ish. And Shorty's like 6'8".
Man, his parents fucked up when they named him.
No, his brother's taller, so he's the short one of the family. His brother was Monster.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a wild Arkansas convention.
All right, so why don't we take one more question and then we wrap it up for the night.
Do you want to do Facebook or Discord? I'm not.
Let's do Facebook. There's not too much left on Discord.
Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to find something funny.
We're funnier when they're not.
What are you trying to say about our listenership, Joe?
No, only good things.
It's not their job to be funny. It's our job to be funny.
All right, so our friend Justin says, we have all heard about Drew's book launch tradition and its role in forming the show, but what launch ceremonies, traditions do the rest of you have? None. We're going to say like none.
Yeah, I was going to say, launch the book, stare at my screen blankly, and wait for somebody to be like, oh, I found a typo on page 68.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess mine is count to see. I usually set the line at about 3 hours after the launch announcement and see if we'll make the over ever on how long it takes somebody to ask me when the audiobook's coming out.
Oh, they don't even wait for mine to come out. Like, hey guys, I'm starting this. When's the audio? Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just repeatedly mutter to myself, fuck all of you for not buying shingles.
That's true. I mean, I say that whenever anybody releases a book, even if they're not on this podcast.
Fuck you for not buying shit.
I actually forgot about my last book release, which was Tuesday.
Whoops.
I didn't remember until about lunchtime Tuesday. I was like, oh, hey, yeah, I got a book that came out today.
I have a tradition where I release a book quite recently, which is a short story collection called Everyone You Love Will Be Eaten by Wolves, and don't mention it until just now.
Yeah.
You should go buy that.
I really like that cover. Was that finger paint?
It was somebody's finger paint.
I like it.
All right. I've actually got a better one to finish on. Our friend Eric says, what would be each of your characters' favorite alcoholic drink? Also, how do I get access to the Discord? I've been a patron for over a year, but I'm technically illiterate.
Well, have you considered maybe asking one of us?
Yeah. Actually, he may have asked us and we may have ignored him because we too are technically illiterate. But ask again. Send an email to www.orphansanddragons.
That's not an email.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. No, actually, go to our website, www.orphansanddragons.com, and you can contact us there. Fuck you, Rick. And we'll help you out on a one-to-one basis because we're nice people.
Yeah, click
or
the
Rick will
contact.
help you out.
Click the contact button. It goes to the A&D email, but I also have it CCing my email
Just in case.
just in case.
I think
Yeah,
most
very
of the
wise.
time that's when your Patreon and your Discord are not connected, because I recently connected mine and suddenly found myself in like 30 new Discords that I didn't want to be in. So that might be the thing.
Yeah, we have a cheat sheet that I think that works for like 99% of the people, and then there's that 1% who we just kind of like, okay, you're hopeless, and then we were just like, keep paying us and pretend you're on there.
For real, what's everyone's character's favorite alcoholic drink?
Oh yeah.
For Fandango, yes.
It's not a fireball?
I mean, yeah,
Makes sense.
probably. Or like Sambuca. Anything that can be set on fire. I also, for the record, like Fireball. So just saying that if anybody's in North Carolina, 2 miles from a liquor store, August 19th through 21st, just putting that out there into the universe.
Bjorg likes sweet mead and Baronfang. And Cal likes absinthe.
Brandon Firemaster probably like a screwdriver. Stan's vodka. And I guess Stan Dandyliver strikes me as a red wine drinker. Or ale with the boys.
And I mean, and obviously, alcohol is a sin, you Torag blaspheming motherfuckers.
Klaus likes whatever you can get for free.
Just like Robert Bevan.
Yeah, well, also, I guess, alternatively, an ice cold Bud Light that's blue against my screen.
Hey!
That just appeared in your hand like a memo.
Woo! Something, he needs something that
Snapped
he
out of
can
existence there.
continue drinking for all of his waking hours without
Bud Light
impeding his skills.
Skills.
Al.
See,
Al
we think it's
being
the
a-
blue screen, but Bob's going to be there at A&D Con, and he's just going to lift up his hand, and a Bud Light is just going to appear there.
Close-up magic show with Robert Bevan.
Oh, there will
Dragons
be
Con, 19th
magic.
to 21st.
The best part is that when I'm on panels with Bob, I can just hold up my hand and a Bud Light magically appears in my hand, which is awesome. For Al, since his body is a temple and he is a very serious and devout monk of the Sun Soul, tequila, because people fight more when they drink tequila, and Al just really wants to kind of punch the whole world.
All right,
That's
then.
fair. That's fair.
Wait a minute, Bevan. What is Sorcerer the Sorcerer's favorite alcoholic drink?
I was
Or is he
working on that.
teetotal?
Yeah,
Is he
I
just
gotta
high
put more
on
thought
life?
into that one. That's I gotta think of something that's innocent on the surface.
Oh, Shirley Temple.
There you go. All right.
Except the spiked Shirley Temple.
Yes.
What is a Shirley Temple with booze?
Something wrong.
I kind of like the spiked Shirley Temple.
Like Shirley Temple. It's Shirley Temple with Hypnol in it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's spiked. I was going to say a salty Shirley Temple.
Oh, it's known as a
Like,
dirty Shirley. It's a dirty
Oh,
Shirley.
there it is.
Yeah, actually, we can ask.
I
Matt
do
Dillon
like a
what's in
dirty Shirley.
Oh no, what have you done?
Yeah, those are all over the Dungeon Crawler Carl book.
Have,
So we can ask Dinneman what's in one.
Okay, another reason to turn up to Orphans and Dragons Con August 19th to 21st. Ask Matt Dinneman about his horribly named cocktail.
get yourself a dirty Shirley.
Yeah, that's just vodka
Alright.
and grenadine.
I mean, I'd
Well.
drink it.
I would too.
Well, this has been an Authors and Dragons interlude. We will be back next week with a side quest. We'll see what that entails. In the meantime, buy your tickets for A&D Con. Reserve your hotel for A&D Con. convince your friends to come to A&D Con, because we're all going to be there, and so will a lot of other people who are probably far more interesting than we are.
Bring your mom.
Yep. Your mom's probably more interesting than we are.
Don't
But
oversell us, Rick.
but here's also the thing: we charge less for A&D Con than your mom charges.
Yeah. I heard your mum's definitely more interesting than we are.
I'm not sure about that.
All right. Until next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.